how to take care of ourselves. And who is the self, the soul? And how do we take care of the self? So Baba says, bathe in knowledge 2 times a day. Yes, because just like, when you take a water bath, the dirt on the body gets cleaned. Similarly, when you read the Murli, when I read Baba's knowledge for the day, when I go through Baba's Murli, then the dirt of Maya, it gets cleaned, and the dirt of Maya settles on the buddhi, and then when Maya clouds the buddhi, then we make mistakes of thoughts, words and acts. And this is why Baba says it is very important to be clean. In the world also we understand that if you don't take bath regularly, then you are very vulnerable to infections. Yes, so, and Brahmins, we take physically also, we take a bath twice a day. Why? Because it is very important to be clean. But just like, the body will accumulate dirt and then it will also attract more infections. Similarly, if we don't take the bath of knowledge 2 times a day, then we will, accumulate the influence of Maya on our buddhi. So, the more the buddhi is absorbed in knowledge, the lesser the influence of Maya on the buddhi. And what does Maya do? Maya makes us make mistakes, right? So Baba today says very interesting thing. Baba says, taking care of yourself is not like going to your auntie's home. So, you have to take really good care of yourself. And taking care is not about falling ill and then getting treated. Taking care is taking the precaution, taking the care to stay healthy, to stay beyond the influence of Maya. And Baba says, if you want to stay beyond the influence of Maya, then you have to read the Murli twice a day. So in the morning and in the evening, it has to be revised properly, so that my buddhi is filled with knowledge, and then Maya doesn't make us make mistakes. Now, how does Maya make us make mistakes? So, Maya has 2 big weapons, attraction and fear. Yes, so sometimes, you are attracted to something, and what you call temptation. So, something in the world, in the old world, tempts you. So, it's a relationship, it's something, someone, some position, something or something. And then it attracts you. And then you do what you shouldn't do, or you don't do what you should do because you're tempted. Do you understand that kind of mistake? Yes, so you are tempted, you are attracted, you are attached, and then you don't follow spiritual discipline. You give in to temptation, and you cross the line of maryada that Baba has given you. And when you cross the line of maryada that Baba has set for you, you fall into trouble. We have all heard the story in Ramayana where Sita crosses the line and is, taken away by Ravan. So, but then Ravan tempted her, or it was a combination of temptation and fear, because Ravan kept saying that if you did not come and give, a Brahman alms, then that would be very wrong on your part. So he scared him with the stick of morality. He scared her with the stick of morality. So Baba says that, there are temptations and fears. So sometimes Maya will put you in so there is a situation, and then Maya makes you have these thoughts of fear, and then you do something that you shouldn't do, or just let's take one thing. So there's this young brother, and he came for a session today, first time. So he was telling me that he works with these two bosses of his in a startup, and he said that I've started feeling very anxious. And I said, why? So he said, because I sometimes feel that they are blaming me for something that is not my fault, and I then take that pressure, and then sometimes they're expecting something which I'm not able to deliver. I take that pressure, and then that pressure is slowly, affecting my health. And then I asked him, what are you afraid of? So he said, I don't know, I'm just afraid. So I said, you're just 24. You have a lot of prospects. Why are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? So he said, I don't know, maybe losing the job. So I said, why don't you understand? They need you as much as you need them. Yes, so they need you as much as you need them. But then, Maya will make you feel that only you need them. And then you will feel very fearful. And then that fear will cloud your buddhi, and you will make decisions. So you will think in a manner, you will speak in a manner. Sometimes you will be so bottled up that you will react one day. You will not choose your words wisely. So Maya will make you make these mistakes. Whenever you are acting out of fear and temptation, you are making mistakes, and you will have to pay for them later. So this is why it is very important to understand that Maya will keep tempting you. But if you have not taken care of yourself, so if you do not listen to Murli itself 2 times, then those powerful Mahavakyas in the Murli are not there in your buddhi. And then when Maya comes, you will not be able to discern it. You will get pulled by that temptation and fear, and you will act in a manner where you will make mistakes. And nobody else can do anything to us. But when we don't take care of ourselves, then situations, people's behaviors, circumstances, they will be able to, make us do the wrong thing. And then when we do the wrong thing, then we will suffer for our own karma, right? So when you make a mistake, you will suffer for it, you will pay for it. But if there is a situation, but you have taken good care of yourself, you are in a knowledgeful and powerful state. And when you are knowledgeful, you are obviously, Gyan is all about knowing what you have to do. So it is assumed that when you listen to Murli 2 times a day, then obviously you pay attention to what is being said in the Murli. It's not like just read the Murli and the work is over. No. So when you pay attention to what is said in the Murli, when you pay attention to Baba's directions of yoga, and whatever directions Baba is telling us, giving us about how to maintain our attitude and what should be our karma like and other stuff, then what happens, you are in a very powerful position internally. And when you are in that powerful position, you don't do anything under Maya's influence. Yes? When you are not impressed, you make choices, you make decisions. You know, when Maya is not influencing you, then you make conscious choices and decisions. And when you make conscious choices and decisions, not choices and decisions which you take under pressure from Maya. So, you know, when you make choices, knowledgeful, powerful choices and decisions, then they will, you know, they will help you in the future. And if you make the wrong decisions about thought, words and deeds, so sometimes, you know, you are in a situation where somebody is repeatedly, you know, making comments at you, right? And then you are not, so you know, one of Baba's Srimatis, which mostly Baba keeps underlining in the Murli, don't look at anybody's defect. Yes, but you're not listening to the Murli. Then what do? You focus on the defect. You focus on, you know, how wrong their words are, or how they are speaking to you, or what they're doing to you is not right, and how very wrong that is. And you keep focusing on that defect. And then what happens? The more you focus on that defect, you become defected. Yes, so you know, these there is this thing, the Buddhi Yoga. So Buddhi Yoga will make you catch their defects and make it your own. So that defect which was there in them comes in you. And then, you know, the next time, after some time, when it has been on your mind, you know, the way they talk to you, what they did to you, you will observe yourself speaking the same way and doing the same actions. Yes, and when they did it, it was wrong. So when you did it, would it be right? No, it would be the same wrong thing. But you know, Maya will make you do the same wrong thing which you absolutely hated when the other person did it. So you will make mistakes, and your thought, word and action will create your destiny. And that destiny, you know, when it is created, you will have to deal with it. So this is why it is very important to have this shower of knowledge and yoga continuously. And Baba says knowledge also 2 times a day. And then today Baba says that, you know, receiving Baba's help. So Baba says, which faith and effort when you make, you will receive full help from the Father. So Baba says, faith, you have to have the firm faith that mine is one Shiv Baba alone and none other. Because until you have this faith, you know, you will always keep remembering people before Baba, things before Baba, attainments and acquisitions before Baba. Is it not? So who do you remember first? Do you remember Baba, or do you remember people, attainments, things? Yes, so let's say your internet broke down. Do you remember the person who repairs it first, or do you remember Baba? Yes, and then some of you might remember Baba first, because that is a troubled situation. But then when you go to buy mangoes, do you remember Baba first, or do you remember the person in your Lokik family who loves mangoes? Do you remember your child who loves mangoes? So Baba says, you know, so when you remember Baba first, so how will you remember Baba first? When you have this firm faith that mine is one Shiv Baba and none other. There is nobody else who belongs to me and nobody else I belong to. And when you single from the buddhi, so when you know that really there is no one who belongs to me and no one I belong to, then this faith will make you always remember Baba. In good times and in bad, in happiness and in sorrow, because He's your only companion. So is there anybody in the class who has Baba as the only companion? So only Shiv Baba and none other. So you have to ask yourself that, if you want to receive full help from Baba, then this faith is important. And you'd see that there is an Uddhav Gita, and in the Uddhav Gita there is this narrative that Uddhav asks God is depicted as Sri Krishna in the Gita. So Uddhav asks God why he went, to help Draupadi when it was like, everything was lost. So why didn't he go earlier? So God answers, but she called me at the end. She called me at the end. So she kept praying and begging to everybody in the court. And she begged her husbands, and then she went to Bhishma Pitama and she begged there, and she prayed to everybody. But she called me at the end. She only remembered me at the end. And I was her friend. I was there for her, but I can only come when called. Yes, so Baba says that, Baba, how will Baba help me if I don't have the faith that mine is only Shiv Baba and none other? Because if there is anyone else, I think, who is mine or who I belong to, then what will happen is I will remember that person or that thing, or maybe I have this intoxication that I am very wealthy or I am very well connected. Then I will remember the resources, I will remember my contacts before I remember Baba. And then how will I receive full help? Because full help means timely help. Because when lightning strikes, you have to have timely help. Otherwise, what happens is the damage is already done. So if I don't have full faith that mine is Shiv Baba and mine is one Shiv Baba and none other, then what happens is my Buddhi Yoga is not there with Baba. And then I remember Baba, but later on when the damage is already done, when I've already made a few mistakes. After that I remember Baba. So Baba says, and then what happens is mistakes become a vicious cycle. So you make one mistake, then the other, because mistakes are cyclic. It's not like one mistake and then full stop. One mistake will lead you to make the other mistake, because the consequences of that one mistake will come. Yes, so let's say, there is somebody who is very egoistic, and then they are showing their ego. They are, doing everything in their power to do some damage to you. They are trying to hurt you in many ways. Or especially with jealousy, what happens? If somebody has a sanskar of jealousy, they will try to harm you in many ways. Now, if somebody is doing that, then what do? Now, if you are not yog-yukt, if you are not in remembrance of Baba, then you have somebody who will tell you that, okay, we will deal with them, and you do this thing and that thing, and you also make them suffer. And then what happens is you are already hurt. And in that state, if you don't remember Baba, instead of healing, what you do is you start making a mistake. And that mistake is inaccurate karma. and then what happens? You pay for that karma later. Yes, so something or the other will happen, and you will later realize that why did I play that game of ego and jealousy with them? So, they did it and it suits them to do that. But that's not me. But Maya made me do it at that time. And when I did it, now I'm suffering because of that. Because bad karma have bad consequences. Right? So, that is what we have to understand. So, Baba says, when you want to receive full help from Baba, then you have to have first firm faith that mine is one Shiv Baba and none other. Because if you run to a person, if you run to something or someone for help when there is trouble, then instead of helping you, they will put you in more trouble. Only if you remember Baba at the right time, then Baba will give you the strength and the guidance to come out of that trouble. Yes, so the second thing Baba says is effort. What is the effort you have to make to receive full help from Baba? So Baba says you have to surrender yourself completely to the one Father, that is, you have to become a trustee and serve with love. Yes, because again, if you say mine is one Shiv Baba and none other, and then you don't surrender, then do you have one Shiv Baba and none other? No, because your sense of mine is scattered everywhere. So there are people, places, things that you call mine. But then just to say, you're saying that mine is one Shiv Baba and none other. So the proof of mine is one Shiv Baba and none other is complete surrender. And complete surrender means you are just a trustee and you serve with love. So all your body, mind and wealth has just one purpose, which is serving, service, and seva with love is what you do, and you don't think anything is mine. It's just given to you in trust. And anyways, when there is a sense of mine in anything, that Maya will come through that door. Yes, because what is mine can get hurt, what is mine can be snatched, what is mine can be, taken away, what is mine can be sabotaged. So this is why if you don't remove this sense of I and mine from this old world, then you will always be prone to attraction and fear. You will always be vulnerable to attraction and fear. So it's very important that you remove this sense of I and mine from everything that you have and everything that you do, and just know that everything is just an instrument for seva. And mine is just one Shiv Baba and none other. And even if there is something, so let's say there's some threat to something that you are a trustee of. Yes, let's say you are a trustee. Baba says, I'm a trustee. I'm a trustee of my children, right? So those who you called your children earlier, now you're a trustee. Now, if there is a threat to something that you're a trustee of, will you not try to do something about it? Yes, even when you're a trustee, you will take care, won't you? So trustees also take care. But trustees don't worry. Trustees take care, but trustees don't worry. Trustees are not careless, but trustees are carefree. Yes, and I have seen one character in my life, There's this one person who is not in Gyan, but very carefree. I've always seen that person very carefree. And his children, they always complained that, my father is not concerned enough. So, he doesn't send those vibes of concern, and we feel like we are abandoned children, and my father is not concerned about us. And I talked to that father, and he said, I take care of the children, don't I? I send them to school, I make sure they get a good education, I make sure they are well fed, I make sure they are not in trouble, there is a safe space, and I'm not into spiritual practice, so I'm just doing the best I can, but I'm doing the needful. He's not in Gyan, so I'm just telling you a personality which is carefree and carefree but not careless. So I really checked, and he ticked all the boxes. He was doing the needful. And then I said, so, but generally people who are not in Gyan have this tendency to be, cared, very concerned. Why aren't you like that? So he said, when I was little, I always thought if Indira Gandhi died, then, the country would just shut down and there would be no work. The country won't, live after that. But she died, and then, I was very worried for some days. How will the country, go ahead, and how will everything work? But then everything worked fine, and I don't know, I had this strange sense that everything works without everybody. So from that day, I stopped worrying. So he gave me this very beautiful incident, and he said that, I just stopped worrying, and I know that I can be happy and still everything can go fine. And I understand I have some things to do, and I do that. But that doesn't mean that if I'm not there tomorrow, and if I'm not there for this person someday, if by some chance of luck I'm not available when somebody needs me, then they will suffer. I don't think like that, because I think in this whole scheme there is some provision for everyone, and even if I'm not there, somebody will be there to help. I have this faith, so I don't worry. So this happened very early when I just came into Gyan, and at that time I heard this, and I was just thinking about this power of dharana, that if something enters your buddhi, it becomes so powerful. And then Baba today says that, you must have this thing that you are a trustee. And who is the owner? Are they your children? Is that your work? Is that your seva? Is that your center? Nothing is yours. Is it yours? No. In earlier times, people had this very beautiful habit. They always referred to children as God's children. I remember even 20 years back, 25 years back, I've heard people always refer to children as God's children. And I remember some 6 years back, I was traveling to Madhuban, and there was this lady, Haryanvi lady, and she was some 70 years old, and she was very jovial and very, so why I say, very jovial and active, because she had the upper berth, and in the age of 70, she never asked to have the lower berth, she just climbed and sat there happily. And then in the train, she had two children with her. So I asked her, are these your grandchildren? And she said, no, not mine, they are God's children. So, she just said, these are God's children. And immediately she said, it's not like she had to think or something. It was just such a sanskar that it came very naturally that these are God's children. And then I remembered, even when we were children, my parents used to say, these are God's children. So God has given me 2 children, and these are God's children. So this is the way we referred to children, and we referred to everything not as my shop, my this, my house, but even when people labeled the names of their houses, they would just put a board outside, Krishna Nivas, or the Ram Nivas, or something like that. And then that's the way they express that this is God's house. And these days people put their own names outside the house, and then they want to put, these days, the wives are saying, not why not my name, why only the husband's name, but nobody is thinking about God. So Baba says that you must understand that you are actually a trustee. The truth is, you are a trustee, and everything belongs to me. It is my house, my job, my children. Everything that you're doing is on my behalf, and your only job is to serve with love. What is my task? Serve with love. So wherever I am, I'm with a person, I serve them with love. I'm in a situation, there's work to be done, I cook with love. I do office work with love. My only job is to do the work with love. So I'm on seva, I'm a trustee, my job is to do everything with love. And Baba says, when you have these two things, the effort to always maintain this consciousness of a trustee and this faith that mine is one Shiv Baba and none other, then Baba says you will receive help, full help from the Father. Because when there is direct Buddhi Yoga with Baba, because there is no interference of anybody's remembrance, and then there is no sense of ownership and attachment in whatever you are doing and whatever you are having, then you are connected with Baba all the time. Your Buddhi Yoga is with Baba. And when your Buddhi Yoga is with Baba, you receive help. And what is help from Baba? You will do the right thing at the right time. So you see that whatever situations are coming up, whatever challenges are coming up, they are a product of past karma, correct? And Baba says, I cannot change your past karma. Whatever you did, and whatever has to come because of that, it will come. But what do you have to do in the present? You have to take care not to make a mistake in the present. Yes? And I will tell you my personal experience. So, this stage of being free from attraction and fear, I do not claim that it is 100%, but whatever practice we have done, there is a stage which is free from attraction and fear. And in this stage, there is yoga with Baba. And I have seen that over the years, many situations come. But you don't make mistakes. Yes, you don't make mistakes. You don't think anything that you shouldn't think. You do not speak anything. You don't speak out of line. You do not act under the influence of Maya. And then over the years, I've come to a place where when something goes wrong in the present, I can see that it could go wrong in 1,000 different ways, right? But there was something right that I did in the past which has helped it to go wrong in the right way. I don't know if I'm making sense. So it has gone wrong, but it has gone wrong in such a way that I have a lot of gratitude that it has not gone wrong the way it could, but in this way. And then at this time and in this place and in this moment where I have so many things I can access to make it right. So, so this is how, you bring about the momentum of settlement of karma. So if you just keep your Buddhi Yoga with Baba, then everything happens, but you don't make a mistake. And it's not like you don't make a mistake. It's just that, just like when you are under the influence of Maya, mistakes happen. Similarly, when you are a trustee and you are beyond the influence of fear and attraction, then you don't make a mistake. So, you just do the right thing, and unknowingly also. So you don't make the mistake of thought, word and deed. That's just the way it works when you're with Baba. And then what happens is, slowly, gradually, you've done so many right things that even when something wrong happens today, you know that it could have gone wrong in so many ways, but because of all the right things that Baba made you do in the past, it has not gone wrong that way. And you have so many things which are working to your advantage at this time, and because of which you are not in the deep waters you could be. And then you have a lot of ways to come out of it very easily. And then, that big thing is a very small thing right now. And I'm not just telling about the attitude. Physically also, what could have been a big situation is a very small situation. Because of all this momentum that is built, because you worked with Baba and you're making every decision with Baba, and you're not making decisions based on fear and attraction and influence and being impressed and being lured. So you're not doing all of that. You're listening to Baba and following Shrimad. So that's why, things are working to your advantage. So this is, and I'm not saying there won't be challenges, big ones, there will be. But then you will be able to come out of them like nothing happened. So that is what Baba says when he says you will receive my full help. When you receive Baba's full help, then Baba is so big that he makes everything to be experienced as very small. It looks like very, very small. So this is Baba's teaching today. So pay attention to 2 times Gyan Baat, and mine is one Shiv Baba and none other, being a trustee while doing everything and serving with love. And then you will always be free from the dirt of Maya. You will always receive help from Baba, and when you receive God's help, then nothing will look like a big thing to you. Okay, Om Shanti.